meeting. We have with us Les Williams, Kay Thomas, Les Williams from Waste Management, Gary Dalton, who's the Highways local engineer, and we may have somebody from the police joining us also. So I'd just like to welcome everybody to this meeting, and can I just assert that when you're speaking, have your camera on and your microphone, and if you're not speaking, have the camera and the microphone off, and that is because of technical issues that we experience with all the technology and the internet connections. So welcome everybody, and I would like to notify all the people that this meeting will be recorded on YouTube and it will be available for future records. And thank you very much for joining us. I would like to go straight into the meeting, and item number 2 is update from Waste Management, and this is where I'd like to bring Les Williams in. Les?
Yeah, hi Councillor. Hi everybody. Quick update from Waste Management. Lots of good news, lots of good things happening at the moment. You've probably seen, if you've been able to take part in the mobile HRWC, where we can take our waste to our trucks and we get rid of some of your bulky items, etc., and some of your recycling that you can't normally get rid of. It has been a renowned success across the city. I'm not sure when we're next in All Green North, but we are planning to come a certain amount of times a year. And Councillor, if you find anywhere you feel that would be benefiting from that, if you just drop me a note at any time, I'm quite happy to put that into our arrangements as a suggestion for a place. What we're also doing, and we're going to be doing this again in All Green very shortly, we've got our Love Your Streets crews that are now operational, and they're looking at some of the busy main roads where we've got lots of black bags on the streets and stuff like that, and we're doing what we call all out days, and we'd welcome anybody to come along. When we say all out day, we include waste enforcement, the police, the fire brigade, local councillors, obviously us from waste management. Anybody else that really wants to come and get involved. And we do things like look at the black bags on the streets, look at the dumping. We've a plan to get it removed, speak to the shops if it's on the main high streets with the shops to make sure they've got duties of cares with their waste, with a view of getting them to get one if they haven't, if not to prosecute. What we've also got currently in our system is some extra dumping crews and some extra deep cleaning crews. So Redfern Road, which services your area, Councillor, there's 4 extra dumping crews and they benefit from 3 of them, and that's citywide, and that's because Redfern Road generally cover most of where the areas are that needs extra work. So they're out working now systematically cleaning dumping. And what we're also doing now, we've got involved with Keep It Tidy, and Keep It Tidy are working with us to share some good best practice, and where we're getting incidences of dumping or fly tipping, we can be treating them now as what they call a grime scene, a catchy word that we've picked up. What we'll be doing is we'll identify the dumping, and we're going to, like the police do on a crime scene, we're going to tape around it with some special tape that identifies its dumping, and we're managing and monitoring it. That tape will stop on there for a couple of days, then we will remove the waste, and once we've finished that, we'll then with some washable paint, because we don't want it to stop forever, we'll be spraying stencils, and the stencils will say things like this money that this is wasted for us picking this waste up that you've dumped could have went to somewhere else in the city, you know, more street cleansing maybe, or to help someone in somewhere else in the city. And again, we're going to be managing, monitoring that. And waste enforcement, which have recently doubled in size from 8 to 16, we are looking to actually make that bigger still. And waste enforcement have committed staff to us in street scene, so that when we do our operations, they work just for us. So we're taking a more hard-nosed approach to dumping, fly tipping, littering, anything else that's unsavoury. With the view of, we've warned everybody, we're going to start prosecuting. No chances. You're out, you get prosecuted. And people that we do catch, we're going to have a wall of shame. So we'll be putting that up in the localities, sharing it on local social media, so we can let people see who's actually doing the dumping in the area. It's not always people from where they live, but sometimes it is. So we're doing a lot of work around that. Our garden season has just started again today. So if you indulge in the garden collection service from us, through the next 2 weeks, you'll get a collection. And I think All Green North is probably Thursday or maybe Friday collections. So lots going on. We've got your lovely streets, as I say. We've got the all out days planned, and council will be making contact soon with yourself to identify where you might find a good all out day or a good walkout day where we can look where we've got some hot spots in our wards. I'll be coming out myself. So I don't know if anyone, that's a quick update. I don't know if anyone's got any questions.
Yes, thank you for that in-depth briefing, Les. Before I bring any of the members of the public in for any questions, just quickly, is there any, I've heard that the council have got some allocated some funding for streets, from alleyways in the back of houses where there's been an issue between the council and private owners who dispute who actually owns those alleyways. And I believe there is some kind of a program being initiated. If you can just elaborate a little bit on that, Les.
Yes, Councillor Shirley. I didn't announce it because it's hopefully going to be starting around April time. There is some additional funding, and we are looking at alleyways. And it's privately owned alleyways, it's publicly owned alleyways, and ones that are indifferent, ones that we don't know. There's a few thousand alleyways, believe it or not, across the city, and we'll have a team in each depot that will systematically go around. So if we've got, I'm just trying to think, in All Green, around All Green Parade, which I don't think it's you, I think it's Councillor Brennan. There's a problem there at the back of the shops. We will go in and clean the back of them shops. So if there's anyone on your ward, councillor, you feel would benefit from that, drop me a note and I'll get it scheduled in for when the team starts. We're just recruiting to them now. Some of the problems we're having, obviously, and we might have seen this in our refuse collection, drivers are in very, very short supply across the country at the moment. I have taken steps and we've taken people through the driver training programme. And at the moment I'm taking about 40 through, but they do take a few weeks to get through because of when we train people now, we train them for every goods licence so they can be multitasking.
Great, thank you for that, Les. I do believe we have an alleyway, well, an area behind the Hall Green Parade, where it is quite, rubbish strewn all around the back and stuff. So I will be, myself and Councillor Suleiman will be getting in touch. Is there anybody who would like to pose any questions regarding the briefing from Les? Okay, if you just you can bring, is there a hand up? Farina, is that you?
Yes, Farina's got a hand up, Councillor.
Okay, if anybody's got their hand up, you just manage it, and we can, because I'm on my phone at the moment, so just in case I miss something. Yes, Farina, go ahead.
First of all, thanks for the opportunity to ask questions. And thank you for the 16 waste enforcement that's desperately needed. Really appreciate that. Les, we are part of, a number of us are part of a local park in Hall Green North, Reading Lane Park, as well as the Hall Green Keeping It Clean street litter pickers group. We're noticing a very high level of nitrous oxide canisters. They used to start from the small little silver canisters, and now we are seeing them in very heavy amounts, actually, across not just Hall Green, but across Birmingham, I'm sure. Just curious if there is anything that's in play in regards to recycling or anything that the council might be doing in respect to that, because at the moment we're just putting them in normal bins, but it's a significant amount now. Just in the park, as an example, we're getting about 6 canisters every week, just in the park, and it's a very small park. It's not a massive park, but yeah, just curious if there's anything that's being looked at.
I can say, Farina, that unfortunately no at the moment. I do understand what you're saying. It was 3-inch silver ones. You seem to be finding them everywhere, and now they seem to be getting hold of. I think it's what they used to whip cream with, or something like that, isn't it? We seem to be finding them getting dumped. It is a problem. It's a problem. It's like one of these nighttime problems where people are doing it. It's unsociable, and they're dumping them in the parks, which is not good. We are further on into this year. We're looking at a real big shake-up on our recycling services, and encouraging people to recycle more, because Birmingham wants to be as green as possible, obviously. And I think what I might do is I might take this back to our parks management team and ask them if there's an option there for a recycling bin in the parks. So I don't think the people that are using the gas would use the bin, but if we've got good people like yourselves that are willing to go out and pick it up, and we'll support you with that as well. There's plenty there to support the groups. If we can get something there to get them recycled, then I would see that as a positive. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Okay, no, brilliant. Thanks, Les. We'll look forward to whatever happens in the future.
Was that Hall Green Park, did you say, Farina?
Yeah, this one's Readings Lane Park, but as part of the Hall Green Keeping It Clean, we're noticing this on almost every other main street, or the streets close by where potentially recreational activities may be taking place.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is definitely a significant increase. So Neelam's just mentioned it to raise it in the ward forum from the litter picking crew, but we're raising it from Readings Lane Park. We do this every other week, and it's quite a lot.
Yeah, if I can, Farina, if it's any up to yourself, what we're really interested in is engaging with people like yourselves, the litter picking crews, and that. We can supply equipment, bags, litter pickers, hoops, broom shovels, all sorts of things, and we can also arrange to get the waste removed. If you want to make contact with me separately and let me know when you're out doing activities, and given like tonight is pouring down with rain, it might not happen, but when you are, we're more than happy to come and help and take away waste. That might be a way of getting rid of them canisters as well. So
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for
Thanks.
that.
Thank you.
And thank you for your question, Farina. I think it may be a good idea if you liaise with Les. And Les, for your information, Farina is part of the Friends of Readings Lane Park, and that's the park on Readings Lane and Foreman's Road corner where the old Chisley Centre. I'm not sure if you're aware of it, Les.
I'm just walking through it in my mind's eye, Councillor. Readings Lane, Foreman's Road, Readings Lane, Foreman's. I know both roads. Oh, I know the one.
Yeah, right.
There's a little play park there, isn't there? Yes, I know exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the one.
Yeah, and we want people to go and enjoy them parks, in the nicer weather and that. And we don't want to be seeing cans and litter there or wherever it might be around the park. So if we can do something to help the local group keep that clean, we're more than happy to get involved. So I don't know if you got my email address, Farina, if it's any help to drop a note, but I'll put it in the chat if you want to pick it up off that.
Right. Thank you very much, Les, and thank you for that, Farina. Are there any other questions for Les Williams from Waste Management? Okay.
I'm not seeing any other hands, and I don't think, I'll just check the chat, but I don't think anybody's put anything in there. No, nobody else.
Okay. Thanks very much, Les, for the briefing and the update. It's always good to see you, and hopefully we will be in touch very shortly. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Councillor. Thanks for the invite, and take care. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Moving on to item 3, which is an update from Highways local engineer on local projects, and that's Gary Dalton's remit. So if I can invite Gary for a quick briefing. Thank you, Gary.
Hello, thank you, Councillor. Yep, just giving a brief update on where we are with the schemes and things in the Hall Green area, Hall Green North rather. For the ward minor measures from last year, we were looking to do a safety scheme on Cateswell Road and also on Shaftmore Lane. Both of those schemes have been consulted on with the residents and had very favourable results back. We're now waiting for TRO Services to advertise a traffic regulation order notice, which has to be done to put speed bumps on the roads. So they are hopefully going to be doing that very shortly. That'll be a 21-day period where we have to give that notice, and then works will begin shortly after that. So those two schemes should be hopefully completed towards the end of March, early April time. From the Safe Routes to School programme, we had 3 schools in the ward: Hall Green Infants, St Ambrose Barlow, Robin Hood Academy. All schemes were consulted on. They've had the traffic regulation order adverts posted. The consultation period, or objection period rather, for those has done. All 3 schools are now currently waiting for works to be done. The issue that we have is that the framework contracts that we use to procure our contractors has expired, and the new one is not up and running yet. So that has caused a delay. I've spoken to the contractors. They're very keen to get on with the work because obviously they're not getting the works orders through. We're very keen to get it done. So that's the hold up. It's out of our hands. There is a new framework contract that's now in place. We've been shown how to do it in the next couple of weeks. And then the contractors will be starting works shortly after that. I've spoken to the contractors, and Hall Green Infants is our first priority. They're going to be starting that. We're hoping to get that completed before the Easter holidays, and then leave the Easter holidays to get St Ambrose and Robin Hood done. But as I said, that's all up in the air with this framework contract. But that is our aim. The works will be done. I know I've had a couple of residents from Hall Green Juniors area who were concerned that we weren't going to do anything, and I have assured them that the money's there, the finance is there, we are doing the work. It's just being able to procure a contractor that is holding us up. The other scheme that we had questions about was the Foxhollies Road, Highfield Road, Stratford Road junction. That has been identified for inclusion in the capital programme for 2022-23. That means that it'll go to the transport projects team, who will develop and implement a scheme there within the new financial year. Obviously, we're not in the new financial year, so I don't know who from transportation projects will be dealing with that. But when I do have more details, I'll pass that on to the councillor, and obviously the councillors can make sure that their concerns about that junction are raised with them. So I think that's updated roughly where we are with all the schemes in the ward. In an ideal world, they would have all been completed before the end of the financial year, but obviously they're going to go slightly over. And then it'll be after the elections, we will look at next year's ward minor measures and Safe Routes to School and what we're going to implement then. But yeah, that's where we are. So, is there any questions on those or anything?
Thank you for that, Gary. Very in-depth, detailed briefing. Just before I bring any of members of the public in, you mentioned regarding the schools, the 3 schools.
Yeah.
Now, is that mode shift stars we're talking about, or is it just something else that we're talking about?
So the schools have to be part of the mode shift stars to enable them to get the funding that enables us to do the work. So it is all tied in with the mode shift stars scheme. Okay. Yeah, so every school that's part of that gets allocated or gets put forward for next year's schemes.
Excellent. The Highfield Road, Foxholly, Stratford Road junction, I remember handing in a petition or myself or Councillor Robson did. Off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly. But what kind of measures are we looking at, Gary, at that junction?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't. All that I know is that it's included in the programme, and it will go to somebody to have a look.
Okay.
I know there's been calls for traffic lights, and in all honesty, I don't think that there will be the budget to traffic light that junction. So it'll be some other. But
Yeah, as long as there's some other
form
of traffic calming measures, you know, in place, because that is a junction which is a fairly dangerous junction, and we always get residents getting in touch with us. Thank you for that,
Okay.
Gary.
No, it's been one that's been raised for a number of years.
Yeah. Any questions from any of the participants? Kay, are you seeing anything?
No, I'm not seeing anybody, any hands. Everybody's very quiet tonight.
Okay.
No, nothing in the chat either.
All right. Thank you very much, Gary. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
And
No
any updates, we'll be liaising with you, Councillor Suleiman and I. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Moving on to item 4, updates from police. I'm not sure, really. We were expecting Sergeant Luke Thomas and Sergeant Hanif Ullah, but I'm not sure. Kay, do you want to come in?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Neither of them are on the call. I know Sergeant Thomas sent his apologies because his shift ended at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and he was going to see if Sergeant Ullah could join us in his place, but looks like that hasn't happened either. So I'm afraid we haven't got either of the police sergeants here with us. But if anybody has got an issue that they want to raise, I can make a note of it and pass it on to them. So if anybody has got anything that they want to comment on or ask, I can definitely pass that over.
I have a question, Kate. You know, when we used to have previously police tasking committee meetings, when will we be getting back to those kind of meetings for the residents? Do you know at all?
I don't, Chair, I'm afraid, but that is something that I can ask. I know that's a question that's been asked in a lot of wards because they don't seem to be taking place. So leave that one with me and I'll ask the question and see if I can find an answer.
Okay. Any of the residents or the participants in the meeting, if there is any questions that you want putting forward to the police, let Kay know, and she will forward your questions on to the relevant people. I'm sorry that the police, anybody from the police force were here. They could not make it. Understandably, they are short-staffed, short-resourced, so that they may have other things, other important matters to attend to. Moving on to local updates, item 5. Any issues or local updates? I would like to invite any participants, members of the public, at this point to come in and have their say or any questions whatsoever. So I'm going to open it up to any of the residents who would like to just update us on any local issues before I give my update as a councillor. So, Kay, is there anybody that, I mean, they can just, they don't have to put their hand up. They can come in. I'll give them a minute or so.
No, there's nobody with a hand up at the moment, but yeah, if you just want to give it a minute, or if anybody wants to type anything in the chat, I can read that out as well. But nothing just at the minute, Councillor Ahmed.
Yeah. All right. I think if we have anything, we can always turn back to it and see and pick it up along the way. I think, is there any update from yourself, Kay, in regards to the ward forum meetings?
No, I don't have anything. So it's over to you, I think, because everybody else is, nobody else has got a hand up or there's nothing in the chat. So I don't know if you've got anything that you want to update on.
Yeah, just Councillor Simon Suleiman and I, along with Gary Dalton, have made numerous visits to hotspots around the ward where we highlighted certain where points in the ward on the streets where residents highlighted that they were a cause for concern. Namely, some of those highlighted were the K12 Road, York Road Junction. And thankfully, we will be putting in some traffic calming measures there. We're also having some work which was already signed off outside the Hall Green school, which a lot of the parents were concerned about parents parking illegally outside the school. So there will be some barriers installed outside there. We are, Councillor Sullivan and I are working very hard with the local highways engineer, Gary, and we're always there for anybody who has any issues to email us, send us a message. The preferred way of contact for the local councillors, I would recommend, is an email. Due to the fact that when somebody calls us and we're in meetings, we cannot attend the phone calls, but we've always got a record of an email, and we can always reply back on to the residents. But thankfully, we have had mobile HRCs, the Les Williams was mentioned earlier, and they've been very popular with the residents. We've had at least, I think, about 3 to 4 visits from the mobile HRCs. We've had a substantial amount of rubbish picked up, and they are very popular with the residents. We will be not in the too distant future arranging for some other visits from the HRC. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take any questions.
There is a question from Farina just popped into the chat. It says she'd like to know if there's any progress on speed calming measures on Readings Lane.
Thank you for that question, Farina. That is an issue that has been highlighted quite frequently with the residents. And we have been liaising with Gary on that. I'm not sure if you're aware. There are certain things that we can and we cannot do on certain routes due to it being a route for the fire engines and the ambulances. But after a long discussion with Gary, Councillor Sullivan and I, we have highlighted some speed calming measures at the junction of Readings Lane and Shaftmore Lane, and I know that is a very big hotspot for accidents there, road traffic accidents. And also I'm aware of the speeding down the Readings lane coming in from the Warwick Road side. So that is certainly something that we are looking at. And we have been awarded some monies in our budget, and we will be consulting with local residents, local community groups like yourself, where we could prioritize what the groups and what the public think that these certain things should be prioritized. So, there is a lot going on. We've also got the Commonwealth Games coming in this year in the summer. So if you have any other queries or any questions, just send us an email, myself and Simon, and we're only an email or so away. So thank you for that. Kay, is that somebody else got their hand up?
Yeah, Val's got a hand up. Do you want to ask a question, Val?
Yeah, I gather there is a move to have the green area between the health centre and the church, the Readings Lane end of, the Stratford Road end of Readings Lane, to have that green area turned into a car park. Have you got any information about that?
None whatsoever. That is news to me. I think, do you know at all, Val, car park, is it public or the car park for the petrol station? Or?
No, a public car park. I think the Conservatives are behind it, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, right. Okay, these sneaky Conservatives.
I think there might be a petition. So, but okay. I just wondered if you knew anything about whether it got any traction or not.
Yeah, I haven't had any information on that, but understandably, that piece of you know, the grassy bit just by the petrol station on the corner of Readings Lane and Stratford Road, it's just opposite the York Road. I think that's a very nice place where I remember having some wood logs being placed there, so it couldn't be accessed by any travelers or stuff. I think it's a beautiful area, and I personally, I don't know about you, Val, but I wouldn't be supporting a car park there. What about you, Val?
I'm on the fence, but I can understand that some of the residents might not be very happy about it. But obviously, there are very, very few parking spaces in that area. So it is an issue. And that end of Readings Lane, you certainly couldn't speed down it. There's not room because there's always parking on both sides of the road and it's a really dangerous area. But yeah, that's probably not the best place for a car park.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But it's certainly, you know, we can always consult with the stakeholders and the residents as to what they would prefer at that site. Thank you for your question, Val. Okay. But I can certainly, Kay, if we hear anything in regards to that, if we can send Val any information regarding that. Val, could you put your email address in the chat, and then Kay can get in touch?
Yeah, Kay knows my details.
I've got Val's email address. That's fine. I'll make an inquiry for you, Val, and see if I can find anything out.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Val, for your question. I'm just on the last item, which is the local updates. I'm more than happy for any participant here to give us any local updates on any issues or anything. And if they want to come in, Kay, is there anybody?
Not just at the minute, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I think we have covered most of the stuff on the agenda, apart from obviously the police. If we can, Kay, get the police onto our next board forum meeting and just chase up the police tasking committee meetings, and then we could certainly liaise with them.
Yeah, will do.
Okay. I think that's there's nothing else I'd like to add. Just before we go, Kay, do we have how many participants were here today at the meeting?
We've got 6.
6.
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I think there's nothing else that we need to discuss, and then we can terminate the meeting, Kay.
Yeah, you've covered everything on the agenda, and I don't think anybody's got any questions or anything they want to add. I can't see anybody else's hand or anything else in the chat. So, yep, I think you can close the meeting, Councillor. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Kay. Wonderful always. Really appreciate your assistance and help. Thank you for everybody. Les Williams, Gary Dalton, Val, Farina. I'm not sure who else joined. So thank you everybody who's joined, and hopefully see you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.